Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at r/AmITheDevil, the place where we get to see some of the biggest bumholes of Reddit. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. No, literally, do subscribe, please, because actually I've got this weird little idea in my head that I want to get to 1,000 subscribers by March, which it will be my birthday month. So I have this weird idea in my head that I want to do that. So comment stuff as well. I don't know. Tell me what you're having for breakfast, dinner, lunch. I don't care. Let's get the algorithms working in our favour, okay? Anyway, let's get into the story, shall we? So, this first story was shared into the subreddit by Wheels Up in 30, and they say, no words for this. So it was originally shared to r/AmITheButthole. Am I the butthole for not wanting to get my stepdaughter's pajamas altered? My wife has a 15-year-old daughter and we have a 4-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter together. My stepdaughter is skinny with long legs and a small waist. She has a chronic illness that has affected her growth. My wife still shops for her in the children's section most of the time, but she wears different sizes in shirts than pants. In tops, she's a 14, in girls, or an 8 in boys. In pants, she's a 12 slim, which is impossible to find in leggings. We usually end up getting adult, extra small, sometimes extra small, and getting it hemmed. I get having her pants altered because they're going to be worn out in public. My wife just bought us some winter pajamas, which almost always come in sets. She usually gets everything in a size 14, but the waist is too big, so she wants to get her pajama pants altered and have them add a tighter elastic waistband or drawstring. I told her that these pants won't be worn out of the house and that getting them altered is a waste of money, but she thinks it's unfair that the rest of us get to have clothes and pajamas that fit and my daughter is just supposed to deal with it because they won't be worn out of the house. Nope. Okay, so I have to get pajamas in like 3 sizes too big because I am tall. And if I don't want to feel like I'm prepping for a flood with the pajama bottoms, I have to then take in the waist because otherwise I'm going to have them too short or buy the bigger sizes, which it doesn't matter in the tops because I like the tops to be really baggy, so that I can have them in a decent length, but then I have to take in the waist myself, which I can do myself. Otherwise, I am going to be dropping trowel every 5 seconds because the bloody things won't stay up. So yeah, it's very uncomfortable to have your pajamas just decide they are vacating the premises every 5 minutes and, mooneying everyone in the household. So yeah, without even reading the rest, this bloody OP is the butthole. Let the girl have some pajamas that fit, for goodness sake. Now she's being petty and saying that a new jacket for me is a waste of money because mine from before we had kids works just fine, and my socks having holes isn't a big deal because no one will see them under my shoes. Love it. My mum thinks I should give in and take the pajamas for alteration to keep the peace, but I just think it's an unnecessary expense. Am I the butthole for not wanting to get her pajama pants altered? Yeah, because again, she's going to be walking around with the things hanging off her otherwise, the poor girl. That doesn't feel very comfy. Pajamas are for comfort, and that is that. So, down in the comments, MDSN Bell says, I'm sitting here, working from home, in a pair of pajama pants that are slightly too big in the waist since I lost a lot of weight between the time I got them and now. When I stand up, I run the risk of flashing the cats due to some ill-fitting pajamas. I really do think I should wash them and donate them, but they're so comfy. Point is, I'm just flashing the cats, and I'm an adult. Who knows, they judge me for plenty of other things anyway. This poor kid tries to do a bathroom run in the middle of the night, she might flash the whole family. Exactly. She's a kid. It's embarrassing for them. And then Rainbow Colour Unicorn says, if they are comfy, you should see if you can add an elastic band or a drawstring. It's super easy to do and beginner level, plus you learn a skill. Also, it's PJs, so it's okay if it doesn't look good, and you were thinking of getting rid of them, so if it ruins them, it's not a waste since you use them to learn something. I've just got a mental image, and I think it's from The Simpsons. I think it's Moe. And I've just got this mental image of where he's like showing off his rope that he uses to tie his trousers shut. I don't know. weird little thought that just come into my head, like a little flash of a memory, and I'm sure that's what it's from. Next post was shared by Evil Finch, and they say soda and pizza. So it was originally from r/relationship advice. How do I, 45M, make amends with my wife's 44F neighbour, 30M, after accusing him of sleeping with my daughter, 15F? I don't think you can come back from an accusation like that, OP, I've got to be honest. My ex-wife moved to this neighbourhood 2 years ago. Over the last year, her neighbour and my daughter became close. He played basketball and football growing up, even played basketball at West Point. Though I looked up his West Point and his stats were mediocre. I have no idea what any of this means. He even told me that he didn't want to go to West Point, but he didn't have offers from other major programmes. So in his words, might as well get a world-class education, and feels like it worked out. Now, last year my daughter tried out for the basketball team and didn't make it. This is the start of them being very close, because my ex-wife suggested that she ask their neighbour, since he mentioned playing basketball, and I didn't think that it would be helpful, but she did, and the neighbour agreed as long as my ex-wife and I were okay with it. I had no problem with it, but didn't think it would work. Turns out she has drastically improved. She made the team and says that they have her starting at practice. I don't think he's the reason for it though. Okay, so why? Because he literally started helping her and then she made the team. What? Things just started looking weird to me. They started hanging out, not just practicing basketball, but would go to eat together. In my opinion, my daughter had an unhealthy obsession of him. For example, she asked me if I can give her $40 to buy him something as a thank you for training her. Her mum gave her the money even though I told my ex we shouldn't, but whatever. I said no. I also told her that I don't think he's the reason for your improvement, that's all you. My daughter responds with, yeah, he said the same thing, I just wasn't playing with confidence, but he helped me get the confidence in my abilities. Like, what? Also, more recently, a teacher was bullying her. She was saying mean things to my daughter in the front of the class, calling her ugly, etc. I think that's the person we should be worrying about here. My daughter told him first, instead of me, or even her mum. Just too many odd things. I mean, personally, I would perhaps not be comfortable with them going for food together if it was happening a lot. But if it was like just now and then, literally straight after practicing, you both knew about it and you knew where they are and you've signed off on it. Remember, she's 15. You could just say, no, you're not going. Like, what? And if you thought that maybe she went to him and told him about the bullying first, because perhaps you and wifey are not people she feels she can open up to, perhaps. I texted the guy to ask if we could talk and we set up a time. I came over his house and I just flat out asked him if the relationship between him and my teenage daughter was sexual, and his response was concerning. He denied it, but got very angry and told me to leave. The concerning part was his denial. Wasn't his denial, but his anger. You've just accused him of being a nonce. I think a normal person who's not guilty of that would be pretty angry. Oh my goodness. I thought it was very suspicious, so I talked to my daughter about it, and she looked at me with disgust. She said he's never done anything inappropriate with her. Then she got mad at me and said, you think I would sleep with a 40-year-old? He's 30, but I get her point. I told her it wasn't her fault, I didn't trust him. She said I have no reason to not trust him, that he's a good man and a mentor to her. She said Mr. His Name has acted like a big brother and even a father. He shows up for me every time, unlike you, who only shows up when you can't find some girl to pay you any mind. Ha ha ha. See, I told you. She's confiding in this dude because dad isn't doing what he should be doing. I told my daughter that that was a very disrespectful thing to say, and when she wonders why we aren't that close, she should take responsibility for her actions and the things she says to me. Honestly, the way this is even written is very immature, like very, very childlike. This OP actually sounds incredibly immature. That will probably require a separate post. No, we don't blame our teenagers if you are struggling to bond. That is a parental problem. I texted the neighbour that I don't think you're sleeping with my daughter or anything inappropriate. I just had to check it out to make sure. He didn't reply. To lighten the mood, I sent him some football tweets from X. He didn't reply. I called my ex-wife, who was no help at all, and just said, I don't know what to tell you. You basically accused him of being a predator. I didn't. I just asked him. What? I didn't accuse him, but yeah, I just accused him. What? But can understand why he's standoffish about it. But I don't feel like we can resolve it without talking like men. Are you capable of that, OP? I'm not sure your brain's mature enough. I'm thinking some pizza and soda. He doesn't drink. Then we just talk it out man to man. Oh my God. Hey, I accuse you of being a massive nonce. Do you want some pizza? What the fuck? Edit. I tried to do the mature thing and look for advice on making amends with this guy. Yeah, I get accused of being jealous. That was the word I was trying to think of for what I thought was going on with the OP. Yeah, I agree. I think it's jealous that obviously this dude's been mentoring the OP's kid, and the OP's kid's like confided in him over bullying because he is a positive influence in her life. So he's immediately got jealous and gone, you must be a nonce. Like, what? But if I was jealous, I wouldn't want to make amends. But I'm done. The situation is what it is, and not one comment has been helpful. I bet you many comments have been helpful, but the OP doesn't want to take accountability for their way they've acted, basically. You can literally tell that by the way they were like, I didn't accuse him of being a predator. I just asked him if he was a predator. So down in the comments, the driving Kuma says, I didn't accuse him of being a sexual predator, I just asked him if he was. Exactly. Calmly asking is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Literally. And then discombobulates. I love that username, that's funny. I just calmly asked him if he was a nonce and had boinked my underage daughter. I didn't accuse him. And then the driving Kuma says, I then proceeded to text him that I didn't think he was a nonce and just had to double check. Yeah, that bit got me as well. I didn't get a reply, so I sent a few Skip Bayless tweets by way of non-apology. Still nothing. I'm thinking just barging over unannounced with a cheese pizza and still no apology. See how that goes. My separate post of how my relationship with my teenage daughter is all her fault is incoming. Oh my goodness. Some people just shouldn't be parents. Like, they really shouldn't. And I totally think that we should all be wary about who our kids are hanging out with. And we should all, check in with the kids and be like, hey, just want to check in with you about, what do you get up to? Blah, blah, blah. If you've got concerns, go to your kid first and be like, hey, is everything okay? But you can't just go accusing someone of being a nonce when there's literally no hint towards that, and you're just jealous that your kid confided in them and felt safe enough to do that. Next post, Grows on Wall shared this one, and they said there's no excuses that will be valid. So this was shared to r/am I overreacting? Am I overreacting? My wife, 36F, lied to me, 36M, about a small detail 10 years ago, and I just found out. Hello Reddit, long time lurker, first time posting. I've been married to my wife for 10 years, and I love her with all my heart. We've been together for 15 years, half of that time we were long distance. I must say that the invention of Skype made this relationship fully succeed. Let's start setting up the scene. My wife will be called Mandy. Her friend, 26M, during 2015 will be called Steve. He's a family friend from her side that I never trusted. They didn't grow up together, but they'd see each other constantly as Mandy's mum and Steve's mum were best friends since elementary school. Mandy had a pet bunny at the time. Later, she got a dog that's still with us. Steve's always made inappropriate comments to Mandy that she would just pass as him being him. Scumbag. So, Mandy and I at the time were about 25 years old, recently graduated on our fields and enjoying our very much long-distance relationship. We made it work, travelling once a year per destination, seeing each other twice a year at the very minimum. As with any long-distance relationship, trust is the thing that most gets tested, even more so than a regular dating environment. Without trust on one another and being 100% honest with where we are, who we are with, and when we are returning home. At the time, she was living with her mum who worked late and her little brother who went to school in the afternoon, arriving at night home. During a weekend in 2015, Mandy tells me, my friend Steve is having his house fumigated and has nowhere to go. My mum offered him the spare visits bedroom, just letting you know. My insecure ass, of course, wasn't okay at the time with that, but I reluctantly had to let it go. I did have conditions to let it go, as I knew Mandy arrived home around 5:30 p.m. and her mum and brother arrived at 7 p.m. As soon as you get home, you have to call me and stay with me on Skype throughout the whole time you are by yourself at home with Steve. There's no excuses that will be valid about this. What? What if she needs to go take a fat dump? You making her stay on Skype with you then? That is so weird. I'm sorry, but if you can't trust your partner to be at home with Steve, then I don't know what to tell you. You probably shouldn't be together, mate. Like, I would dump him if he was trying to get me to do that, because I'd be like, yeah, no, that's weird behavior. Either you trust me or you don't. Like, what the hell? She agreed, and all I had to do was endure this live grenade thrown to my relationship for a week. Monday comes and she leaves work. Through WhatsApp, I call her and make sure that she's on her way home. She arrives and abruptly hangs up. Hold on, you call her when she leaves work to make sure she's on her way home? I'm getting these real hints of like some not so good relationship behaviour that I don't like here. Don't like at all. She arrives and abruptly hangs up. After a couple of hours of getting no response from her, I am livid. Once she picks up, she says, "So sorry, the bunny sprinted out the door and was running on the front yard. I didn't want to lose him." This led to a fight about my one condition I laid for me to be okay with Steve being at her place with her alone for 1.5 hours. I was furious. She kept giving me the same excuse. We had a huge blowout fight that ended up with us breaking up for a week. She should have stayed broken up, to be honest with you. Oh my God. After a week, we talked and got back together, proposed months later, got married, and now we live together. Fast forward to yesterday, we're talking about how much of a little terror our dog was when she first got it. Mind you, she got it while she was living with her parents. The dog came with us into the marriage, and how the dog used to just run away as soon as the door was open. I told her, dude, all your pets have been like that, since the bunny was also do that from time to time. She gave me a puzzled look and said, the bunny never sprinted out the house. And that moment in time froze, since I do recall what was the catalyst of us breaking up for the last time 10 years ago. I did mention, that's weird, because I do recall when the bunny did escape on the street that time that Steve was staying at your place and you couldn't get it. Her response was, oh. The fallout of this situation has been something that definitely has changed in me. I can't help but feel a conflict. We have built a beautiful life together these 10 years of marriage, but something was stirred within me that I can't see her with the utmost love and devotion that I did 2 days ago. Mate, you need to grow up. She probably just forgot about the bunny thing. Like, just because you seem to have held on to that memory like it's a national treasure doesn't mean she has. How can I bring this up in the case that she notices me being weird? I am the worst liar. Play poker with me and you'll clean me for sure. If she never brings it up, I plan to talk it out maybe on therapy. Another thing I have to pick back up just so that I won't be self-destructive on me. This is written so bad. So if sometimes the sentences don't quite make sense, they don't make sense to me either. I'm trying the best I can. As of right now, the realization is eating away little by little. I am going to be pressed to ask her to be 100% honest if she asks me. Why am I being less affectionate as usual? My mother-in-law is staying at the moment with us for 15 days, so the PDA is controlled and an easy manageable problem. TLDR, I caught my wife on a lie 10 years ago that makes me suspicious of her cheating on me while we were just dating. Now I don't know how to feel about it, and if this jeopardizes my feelings towards her now that I know she's capable of lying to cover something like that up. She may have just needed a big fat poo and didn't want you listening in, so she pretended the bunny got out so she could go and have the big fat poo. Maybe she had the runs. Maybe she had a bit of a bad belly and didn't want you there on Skype like some weird flipping voyeurist. Like, do you know what I mean? Oh my goodness. Like, the fact that the OP just doesn't trust them that much that they're making them call them for an hour and a half. I'm sorry, OP, you are the weird one here, not the wife at all. Update. You kind people of Reddit have made me see the light and the error of my ways. I find that funny because I could just imagine that Reddit was not kind in giving the OP a slap back to reality. When I came here, it was because I was confused. I couldn't see the light and otherwise didn't know that I, in fact, was overreacting and being a complete donkey. That is an understatement. I will get over myself and just enjoy my life with my wife, who has put up with my deliriums and tantrums because she's a lot more evolved of a person. Because she's a more evolved version of a person and the best person I know. On the other hand, some of you have the most colourful language and just weren't helpful. Only destructive. I came here for honest feedback. I got it, but what I didn't expect was a kind of Spanish Inquisition. I mean, that's quite ironic, really, considering I feel like that's how the OP's wife felt all those times when they were like, where have you been? Who have you been with? Who was there? How long did you stay there? Because I bet that's what they were like. I bet you any money. Anyway, down in the comments, Big Comfy Couch says, oh my god, this guy, I don't think he can be in a relationship with a woman as long as other men exist. One small white lie a decade earlier because her long-distance boyfriend was an insecure, rage-filled control freak? Exactly. And then Strangled in Moonlight says, if it was even a white lie, the resulting blow-up and breakup could have made her forget the bunny running out. Exactly, I would have forgot that. I wouldn't have remembered. Like, that's such a small, minute detail. Just because he's held on to it doesn't mean she has. She might have just remembered there was a massive argument, and actually, I can't quite remember why, but I just know there was a big old argument. Okay, so I think that's all we've got time for today, mainly because I want to go and make some noodles because I am hungry. My stomach has been trying to make a little appearance during this whole video by making the loudest noises I have heard from it for a while. So yeah, I'm going to go and make noodles, and if you made it all the way to the end with me, I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, turn notifications on, comment something for the algorithm pleasing, that is your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome, whatever it is you're doing for the day. I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye!